Hi everyone. Um, it's Huggles here. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. It was about last weekend, last Friday or Saturday, not yesterday, but should say 2 days ago now. We had took a small journey to go try to drop off some stuff and get rid of some of the things that were in the garage that needed to go. And we ended up having a situation where we couldn't find where to take it. So I found another place and I took it that Friday. So it was like Thursday and Friday, or Friday and Saturday, I can't remember which. All I can tell you is that by Monday, when I had looked for somebody to take it instead, in a place that was actually open due to like all the coronavirus and everything else that's going on, they didn't have anything open. And the fact they had nothing open shows me that we have a major issue, because a lot of places aren't taking what you normally recycle and so on. So I ended up going to take it up. I had talked to the person, and there was like 4 or 5 people that were working there at the time. One was a very elderly man. He was in his late 70s. And the man behind the counter said he and that man had coronavirus. They had it, and they didn't, it's not affecting them. It's not a big deal. Now, I didn't take it to mean that they have it right now. I thought, like before or something. So I ended up coming home, and it was about Tuesday night. I was supposed to see my normal counselor and talk about my situations that are going on with me. And it's been helping me. Now, mind you, I'm a very stubborn person, very hard-headed, and I didn't really like people knowing my thoughts or knowing my feelings. It just makes me so vulnerable. I didn't feel comfortable with it. And it took me a long time to realize I don't have to feel that way, and that it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's just not always okay, the people that you find in your life that take advantage of that. So you have to be much more apt to understanding who's going to take advantage of it and who's just going to be your friend. So it felt kind of awkward for a long period of time seeing a counselor, and I didn't think it was going to help. I really didn't. I thought, I'm going to bawl my eyeballs out and I'm not going to feel any better. But I did, and I've been getting a lot from it. So when I went to speak to her weekly, which I do, I got so sick, and today's Sunday. I got sick Tuesday night, and I was so ill. I went through throat feeling like you're swallowing razor blades. Like even your own saliva or water, you feel like it's razor blades. Headache so bad that you couldn't do nothing but sleep. It hurt so bad. Still hurts. Sleeping went well for the first day. But after the first day of being sick, you kind of almost don't get your energy back. But at the same time, you can't continually sleep. So you run across things like you needing something to drink, or to get to go to the bathroom or something. So you're having problems as you're going. And I ended up having the chills, fevers, nausea. I'm lucky because of my health conditions that I have the available medications that I needed to make it through to here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I can tell you honestly, with the pain that I was in, if it wasn't for my painkillers, I'd be in trouble. If it wasn't for my anti-nausea medications, I'd be in trouble, or my anxiety medications, I'd be in trouble. I was not able to take my daily meds. This is the most I've talked since Tuesday. I I have no voice. And it's not like there's something wrong. It doesn't feel like there's something wrong. It just feels like there's a squeezing going on. My asthma medication, I'm very lucky that they boosted it to something that has a steroid in it, because if I didn't have that new asthma medication, I don't think I'd be breathing as well as I do. For 2 days, I couldn't speak. If I opened up my mouth to breathe, I ended up almost gasping for air because it hurt. So I'd breathe through my nose. And if I didn't stay calm, I started to get upset because I was having chills so bad. I was just shaking and tremoring so bad. I just was having such a hard time even breathing. So I had to stay calm and just lay there and let it kind of just breathe through the situation. And it felt, for like the period of 2 days, felt like 2 months. It did. It felt like every hour was draining just to get to that hour so that I would get tired enough to go back to sleep. So when all that had started, I thought, okay, this is going to be the worst. I'm going to have, because I started to have fevers then. It's like, okay, this has got to be, the worst of it, right? So I started to feel a little bit better. I think it was Thursday. That was Wednesday. Wednesday, I started that morning. I'd gotten up and I started to feel just a little bit better and slam back down to the ground. I was like wanting to die. So I went back to bed and I, slept through a lot of it, and then got back up for a little while, tried to drink coffee, anything that was warm, and it helped. And it was like, as soon as it helped a little bit, I got slammed back down to the ground. So my breathing problems started to intensify because of my throat. So I was ending up using my inhaler a lot. And this is my rescue inhaler, not my normal inhaler. My steroid one daily. Twice daily, actually, but it's a steroid one medication. So last night I was starting to feel a little bit better, but I was starting to have aches in my body so bad that they had started a little bit earlier than that, but I didn't think it was going to get that bad. I was in so much pain, and getting up just to go pee or get a water was extremely difficult to even maneuver a short distance. And I made it through. And I had to say, if I didn't have those medications available, especially the anti-nausea, especially the painkillers, and especially my asthma inhaler, my rescue, I'd be in trouble. I wouldn't be here breathing. I have used it so often in the last 2 days, I don't even know. I think I've went through about 100 in the last week. So it's been bad. So that means I've taken it like 50 times. And it does help open up my windpipe and everything else in my lungs. I did have kind of like a mucousy cough. It's more dry now. It's more just like a dry irritant. But I usually do have like a mucus cough after I use my inhalers. So that I didn't think was that much of a surprise. So last night when I was starting to ache so bad, I had gotten up and I was sitting up for a short period of time because I was just hurting so bad from laying down. I started to like the bile and everything was starting to throw up, and it was not good. And it happened to me a few times last night. So all I can say from a standpoint on this side of it, I know they don't think, because I wasn't in knowledge that I was in the presence of somebody who had COVID. I'm not saying I have it, but I'm saying if this is what it is, It's awful. And I can feel like I can still feel how horrible it is on my system, especially breathing. It hurts. Never like this before. The last time I was like this, I ended up in the emergency room. And so my asthma inhalers have kicked in better and it's more controlled. So I had gotten up, I was not feeling well at all. And ever since I was a little kid, I always have these little things where it's like a deja vu. But when you have the feeling, you kind of go into this dark place and you see all these vivid flashings, all these different pictures like you've been here before, things that are going on that you've been through before. And it's an eerie, terrible feeling. And I usually hated it because eventually it made me feel like the world was spinning. I wanted to vomit. I would get serious migraines and I'd have to go straight to bed. Otherwise, I'd be throwing up all over or laying on the bathroom floor. So I went to look it up today. What is going on? Because I know with the MS diagnosis, on top of all my other health conditions, which someday I'll explain. You can ask or subscribe and I'll tell you what's going on or make a video for you to tell you what's going on. But this is my health journey. And I would have never thought I wanted to share it with anybody, much less everybody. But if you can't share it and be free of feeling like you're confined, you have a bigger problem. You feel like you're stuck in a bubble that nobody's going to want into. And I had that feeling for too long. I had the feeling of, okay, well, nobody's going to want that in their life. Nobody's going to want to get close to somebody like that who's sick. And that's not true. The problem is mentally, especially when you're sick and have been sick for a long period of time and have several issues going on that are health related, a lot of people look at you like you're weak or like you're faking it. And that's a very hard thing to go through. They don't understand from the other side of the perspective how hard that is and how much it feels so alone. So I usually just made myself suck it up and keep going, which is a very strong thing to do and a very positive thing to do. But on the other perspective, it made me look like when I hit the ground, I hit it hard. I didn't go slowly. It was a boom and that was it. And then I had to try to rebuild myself back up until I felt better. And people don't get that. They never did. And it makes it very difficult to explain anything because they just don't understand. So instead of hiding it, I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to let it be what it is, and it's accepted or not. I don't care because this is my life and I have to live it. So nobody else has to live in my shoes. I am so grateful that I am not the only person on this earth who has these problems. So when I was looking up after the whole MS diagnosis and stuff, why am I having these things? And why am I so scared of vomiting? I didn't know it was a paranoia. I'd had paranoias and I was very aware of them. I just wasn't vocalizing them. I wasn't telling anybody I was feeling them because I didn't want to think I was nuts. And that's a weird thing to feel because everybody has certain things that they're upset about or triggers. And for me, it's different little paranoias, especially now that my health's not so great. So I'm terrified of picking up stuff like this. So I went online and I was looking it up and trying to find different things. And I realized that there is a possibility that my MS is linked to a mild, very mild form of epilepsy. Now, I'm not saying I have it, but I'm going to have to talk to my neurologist about it because it's very one of those things where you need to know the answer to and to make sure because it's something that's serious and can be serious if it advances. I know they saw the lesions. I know that they know that there's lesions there, but it doesn't say absolutely that it's just MS. it could be that the two little things that cause epilepsy in the brainstem, that there's something incorrect going on there, and that they weren't looking at it because they were looking for the MS and to try to find out what the MS lesions were. So, and to prove, yes, absolutely, it's MS. So I ended up feeling different afterward. It seems stupid, but I did. And I ended up feeling different after because it was almost like a relief. Like, this just isn't like a normal thing. This is something that's wrong, and it can be fixed. It can be helped. So I think there's a little bit of peace in that, just a little bit. And I think there's some peace in knowing, like, what's going on health-wise. When they removed my gallbladder, I knew it was before they took it out. My thyroid, the same. I knew it was bad, and I told them straight out something was wrong. And yeah, the blood test came back and told them that, that they did an ultrasound in my gallbladder to see, and they said there was a bunch of sludge in there. When they got in there, I still have it to this day. It was a 1-inch stone all the way around in my gallbladder with other stones and muck and stuff in there. So what they weren't able to see at a small hospital, they removed and found. So that's a scary thought. So when I started going to the new hospital, which is much bigger and further away, it gave me the opportunity to be able to see things I hadn't saw before. So I'm hoping that this helps anybody who's having problems, especially if it's some kind of mental awareness that you feel. Shouldn't have to be afraid. I can tell you, I've seen so many documentaries and docuseries on people who have issues and twitches and, little tics that make them go off or make them feel something. Like me, I'd go into the doctor's office and I'd sit the furthest away from everybody, right next to the door. So if somebody so much as even coughed or sneezed, I had the right to jump up and run out the door. That's not normal. It's not normal. That's how I felt. And I felt that paranoia. I needed to be right there. So when the hospital started to dictate where you sat, it became very difficult for me. And I didn't realize that being uncomfortable in that moment was probably the best thing that could have happened. Because the more I'm uncomfortable, the more I'm fighting it, and the more I'm pushing back against whatever's going on. My counselor's done wonderful. She's gone through everything humanly possible to give me all the information she can on stress, anxiety, paranoias, eating disorders, which is like the GI issue with mine, the Crohn's, IBS-D, different things like that, and to help. So she's been wonderful, and I would have never trusted a counselor before I had went to one. But see, I'm so stubborn. I didn't want to admit something was wrong. I didn't want to admit that I wasn't okay, because if I admit I'm not okay, that means something's wrong, right? And if something's wrong, then I have to address it. And if I had to address it, then my life slows down. But when this hit me, my life slowed down because my brain doesn't go as fast as it did before. And it doesn't think as fast as it did before, or about the same things as it did before. I can miss things so often. So it's extremely difficult to really kind of deal with and say, look, this is what it is. Take it for what it is. Take it for what it's not. Because I have ran into some people in my life that were very close to me who questioned it because I had never saw it. I refused to show them that part. If I was sick, I was just sick. I wasn't going to tell you everything that was wrong or what my mind was thinking. Or if they did, they say, oh, it's stress. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. No, I have to deal with what it really is. And if I don't, I'm not going to accept it. And if I don't accept it, then I'm going to be angry every time it happens. I'm going to be angry at myself. I'm going to be angry at the world. I'm going to be angry at everything because I don't want to believe that something is wrong. And that shouldn't have to be. You shouldn't have to be that way. So the medications they had me on had helped tremendously. One antidepressant was not enough. They had to put me on a second one, which helped tremendously. Like I said, it really did stabilize my mood after that. And it did help me to not feel what I felt like so totally desperate and lost. And like I'm fighting something that's not worth fighting for, if you know what I mean. So don't be afraid of what's going on with you. Don't be afraid of sharing it with people that you love and people that you know, because if people actually love you and care about you, they will respect it and they will see it. One of the things my son had saw and had been through and had to take me to the doctor and do this and do that, it was very difficult for him. He's going through his late teens and he's in high school and he's having his life. And here he is having to take mom to the doctor's office or to the ER because mom fell. And mom is having problems. He shouldn't have had to have worried like that or been through things like that. But I think, honestly, he's a much better person for it. He doesn't judge me. He knows I'm sick. He saw my limitations. He saw when I was throwing up. He saw everything. And it wasn't a denial thing. He took it head on and said, yes, I know, I've seen it. I'm going through it. He has similar issues and has similar health conditions that are starting to travel with him. And I can only hope that maybe it skips him. I really hope so. I hope he finds something that's a balance that helps him to, I know foods can help. Different foods can help with different moods. So hopefully he can find stuff that balances him out because he is in culinary. So I saw the look on his face the one day when a neurologist, well, she's not really a neurologist, and she said to me, remember, I think it was 5 words. And then she talked to me a little bit and said, remember these 5 words. And just a few minutes later, I couldn't even remember all but the first one. And I was to the point of crying. When she tried to have me put my feet together next to each other, and I couldn't physically make my legs straighten out without falling, and no balance. It was one of the hardest things in my life that I've ever had to do and go through. When I look over and I saw the look on his face, I'm like, it's like he wants to fix it and it's okay, he knows. And that it's all right, Mom. So that was one of the most difficult things in the world to go through, because it was such a look of, I feel sorry for you. I understand you. I know that you're not okay and you don't have to prove it to anyone. But it was the realizing that it was that bad that made me had to go into a place where it's like, either I accept this and get better and start listening and start doing what I need to do mentally, preparing myself for whatever comes. I'm going to keep falling backwards every time something goes wrong. And I'm not going to want to stay here anymore, as in life. And I had to change it. So if you're dealing with health issues and you have mental things that are pressing on your health, and your health pressing on your mental things, it's all intertwined. It's very difficult to try to deal with all of it at once. So I would just say to you, whatever you do, as it comes slowly, learn to accept your limits, learn to accept your limitations, learn to accept your disabilities as they come. if you can't walk today or walk tomorrow, but you can the next day, you'll understand why. But you just keep going and accepting it. No matter how hard it is and how much you're so angry, you need to learn to kind of put that into like a catatonic little box that you just like, I can't be angry because I'm not in control of my body. My brain is. And if it's wrong, whatever my body's doing is wrong. The tremors, everything is wrong. So it's not something you can stop, and it's not something you can do something about. You have to go with, I guess, roll with the punches is what they say. So you just kind of have to go along waiting for something to change or someone to see something that wasn't there before. So I strongly advise people to accept who you are, love who you are. Tomorrow's not promised. Spend time with the people that you love while you have them. Live whatever dream you have. Go for it. Try. And I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm saying be realistic with yourself. You only have one life. And if you don't try your hardest for what you got now, you're not going to keep what you got. So I just want to say, God bless you guys. It is tough. There is nothing on this earth that I can tell you that isn't tough about mental and physical impairments and issues, disabilities. I wish I could pop you into my mind so that you could hear what it's saying, that I'm not vocalizing and being able to vocalize. I just don't have that ability anymore like I did. Sometimes it comes back a little bit, sometimes it regresses. It all depends on what mental state I'm in and what health state I'm in. Now, this is COVID, which is a strong possibility that I was exposed at some point in the last week. If it is, I can only say I don't understand why everybody waits so long and says, well, there's nothing we can do. I can tell you this, if it wasn't for the medications I had readily available, I wouldn't be here. There should be different medications that are readily available for COVID patients. So if you're diagnosed with it, you should be able to go call, have the pharmacy bring in the medication, have it done. If it's painkillers, if it's anti-vomiting medication because you can't stop vomiting, if it's breathing issues, something like oxygens or something, it should be able to be something more readily available if you have multiple people, especially in the hospital. Instead of just sitting there and then wait until they have to go on a ventilator. There should be some help. I know that there was at the store when my son was little, anti-nausea chews that were chewable. Those actually did help him. You can get them at most pharmacies. You just got to look at it. I think it was like Nausine or something like that. You just got to look it up and you got to find it and make sure you get it quickly. Because I can tell you one day you're fine, the next day, boom, you're hitting rock bottom and you need help. So I'm going to say God bless you to you all, and I hope and pray y'all don't get COVID. But if you do, please take care of yourself. Believe it or not, you may think you're okay one day. Take it slow, because you're going to hit rock bottom if you don't. Slow strides until you start really feeling better. Not just a little, a lot. So God bless you guys. I hope you all are safe and take care. Subscribe. Ask any questions you want. I'll answer it. And any comments you have, please be nice. If you don't have anything nice to say, please don't say anything at all. God bless you. Bye, guys.